Hello, everyone. Welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host, Liam, aka Hemvar, and today I'm doing another weekly update. This is Liam's Leapings 31 for, was it March the 4th, 2023. Happy March, everyone. So this is just where I tell you what I read for the week and what I am, well, finished, what I'm in the middle of reading, a little bit about my writing, and maybe something else if I remember anything else. So, this week, I read quite a bit, actually. I finished quite a bit. So I finished Sword in the Eye. I think this is the first book I finished. I was pretty close to being done with it. I had very little left. Last week when I recorded this video, it's by Justin Lieber. First in the saga of the House of Aegon, however you say it. There's a second book. This was pretty enjoyable. I enjoyed it. It's pretty short. It's very different. I'm not sure how many people would like it, but I will have more thoughts on that when I come out, with a review probably in like 3 months. So I'm still behind. It's hard to catch up when I read so many books, but I only come out 2 a week, which is actually part of the reason where two of these books I finished this week. They're brand new, and so I came out with reviews for them this week, just so I can get them out pretty close to release, so people can hear about them. And there might not be very many or any other reviews out there. So, but I also read Sandstorm by Christopher Rowe. This is a pretty fun Forgotten Realms novel, 4th edition, Callum Shan, which is a desert kingdom. If you've read The Halfling's Gym by R.A. Salvatore, it's the same place as that, but very different in a way. There's a lot of genasi. So if you really like genasi, which are kind of like these elemental touched mortals, like air, fire, water, storm, stuff like that, earth, then you might be interested in this one. It's also pretty short. I don't even think it's 300 pages. Yeah, it's just shy of 300 pages. So that was pretty fun. It was nice to be back in Forgotten Realms. It's the first Forgotten Realms novel I read this year. I'm surprised it took me that long. I was kind of in a Forgotten Realms mood at the end of December and in going into January, but I haven't read anything. Then I also finished The Fear of Moncroy, or Moncroy, as I want to say, by Brian Asher. This came out, I believe, just last week. I ordered it maybe a day or so after it came out. And I got this. When did I get this? Tuesday? I believe I got this Tuesday. And then I had it finished by Wednesday, I believe. So it's pretty good. It's nice, short, easy read. This is self-published, but yeah, it's fun. I guess I wanted a good vampire read. I like the cover a lot. I guess if that matters. It doesn't really sell me on books, but it's nice to have a nice cover. Yeah, I just like a good vampire read every once in a while. If you pay attention to my channel, you will notice that. I mean, I don't read a ton of vampire stuff, but when I was, say, about 12 or 13, I was obsessed with vampires, and I'm not obsessed anymore, but I still really like them. Oh yeah, and then the other Forgotten Realms book I finished reading was Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, The Druids Call, this is a prequel to the upcoming movie. I already came out with a review for this, just like The Fear of Moncroy. This came out on the 28th, and I'm also reading, so I'll mention this real quick since I'm talking about this one. I'm still in the middle of this one, but I am also reading the other prequel novel, The Road to Neverwinter. So The Druids Call is a YA prequel novel. It's okay. You can go listen to my thoughts. It's not bad by any means. And The Road to Neverwinter is adult. It's okay so far. I'm not even, maybe I'm like a fifth of the way through it. I just started it today. So, but yeah, hopefully I'll get the review out for this. So this is out before the movie comes out later this month. But yeah, so my thoughts on my blog for the Druids Call also went out on Friday. So there's that. And then the last book I finished, because I haven't actually finished The Road to Neverwinter technically, was Time Trials. This releases, I believe, on Tuesday. I could be wrong. Maybe it's Wednesday. But this is by DJ Butler, M.A. Rothman. I was pretty close to finishing this one last week as well. So I finally finished it earlier this week, like Sunday. So pretty while ago. But this review will come out. I timed that one as well with the release. So this one will come out on Monday. I made room for it, so this one will not be an extra video, but, I might always release an extra video, especially reviews here and there, as long as I'm caught up. And as of right now, I'm pretty caught up on my reviews. And so that's part of the reason why I had those 2 extra reviews this week. So And then I believe, oh no, I have two other books I'm reading. So I'll mention the one I'm reading digitally before I forget. Oh, no, no, no. I finished another book. I finished 6 books this week. I finished Gentlemen of the Road by Michael Chabon. I don't have a physical copy yet. I ordered one, but I listened to this. This was a historical fiction set in 950. I'm reading another book set around that time, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's somewhere around there, and it takes place in the Khaganate of the Khazars and like present day Southwest Russia. And the Gentlemen of the Road are basically bandits, but they're Jews. They're two Jewish bandits. It's pretty cool. Raf Bluetax suggested this one to me, and it's kind of like Fafner and the Grey Mouser, but historical fiction. It's also in some ways like Dumas. Dumas. Yeah, that's probably the correct way to possessivize Dumas. His wow, I'm totally blanking. His romances, his stuff like that. Anyways, I'm totally blanking. Sorry, you know what I'm talking about probably. So yeah, A Gentleman on the Road. It's really short. It is technically a serialized novel, but it's a really short novel. It came out in 2007, but it's way shorter than most novels this day and age. So, but it is pretty good. It doesn't have any fantastical elements, just purely historical fiction. So it's pretty good. It really looks at like how cruddy women have it at that time, actually. And then we had two other books I'm in the middle of. The first one is the Viking Gale Saga by J.T.T. Ryder. This is an e-arc. It comes out, I believe, in the middle of the month, like the 14th or 15th. It's called the Viking Gale Saga. It's book 1 in the Viking Gale Saga. So it's rather short. It's a really short novel. I believe it's only about 50,000 words. I was in my Viking stint. I'm a little bit out of it now, but then since I got this arc, I was like, well, might as well read it. It's rather short. I'm enjoying it so far. I am only in chapter 3, but it is about the same. It takes place about the same time period, actually, as Gentlemen of the Road, and it takes place. Well, so far, I believe we've been in the Orkneys, and the character Asger, is half Gaul or Gael rather, so like Irish, and then half Norwegian, I believe. So it's pretty interesting so far. It's actually I really like some things, but I'll mention those in a review when I come out with that eventually. And then I'm also in chapter 3 as well in this book, A Morbid Taste for Bones by Ellis Peters, which I believe is a pen name for. Oh shoot, what was her actual name? It was Edith Pargeter. Pargeter. I have no clue how to say her name. Edith something. This came out in 77, I believe. It's quite an extensive series, but they're all rather short. This is less than 200 pages. There's quite a bit of words on each page, but it's less than 200 pages. And it's a murder mystery, even though I'm in chapter 3 and the murder hasn't happened yet, but it's a medieval murder mystery. It actually comes off as rather cozy to me in a lot of ways. It's about a priest named Codville. I believe that's the name of the series generally, is a Codville. Spelled Codfail. Maybe for an English speaker would probably look at it like that way. It's Welsh though. I believe there's a TV show that came out in the 90s about Codville. Pretty sure they say his name wrong in the TV show, but I've never seen that. So Morbid Taste for Bones is the first book in that series. I'm enjoying it so far. It's pretty, like I said, it's pretty comfy, pretty cozy. That is my novel reading for this week. I read one short story that is Strangers in the Valley by Alex Gurevich. This is from Starward Shadows, issues 3, which is coming out almost one a week, one story a week. I think this Strangers in the Valley might have come out before I recorded this video. I just hadn't read it, my last week's update rather, because I did read the other one that came out afterwards, which was a poem called Odessa 1920. It's really short. I cannot remember who wrote this one. I should look it up. But Strangers in the Valley, actually, in a way, is about kings from the point of view of the monster. Just to put it that way, it is a story from the point of view of the monster. Oh yeah, the Odessa 1920 is from a anonymous person that goes by yours truly, the Happy Recluse. So, yeah. And then Oh yeah, so New Edge, as I'm recording, is counting down. They're actually streaming right now. They're ending. I'm pretty sure right about when this video is going to go live, their Kickstarter is going to be done and dusted. But they hit their goal. Are funded, and now they're working towards stretch goals. So that's exciting. We got a new Michael Moorcock story. And then as another Kickstarter, I think I failed to mention, and if maybe I mentioned it in one of these, is the horror at Pooh Corner, which is a I believe Lovecraftian, but at least horror Winnie the Pooh anthology being put together by Hemmeline Press, edited by Joe Monson. I've met Joe a couple times. He's a pretty good guy, and he edits a lot of good anthologies. So that is still going on at Kickstarter. They've hit their goal as well, so they're working towards stretch goals. Theirs probably still has about half a month or so until it is finished. And then, I got one book besides those, The Fear of Moncroy and the D&D books that I'd already, that I'm reading and already read, so they made it into that stack. But The Stress of Her Regard by Tim Powers, which I think will be the first Tim Powers book I read. This one is about vampires. Again, there's that vampire thing popping up. This one has been recommended to me a few times, particularly by Christopher Rocchio, also by Dave Butler. So, and here is this cool thing at the beginning of this book, kind of like a I don't know, like it's just a little quote before the prologue. It says, "Ye thought must see that eve of time when men no longer yearns, grown deaf before life's sphinx, whose lips are barred, when from the spaces of eternity silence a rigorous Medusa turns on the lost world the stress of her regard." It is by Clark Ashton Smith, Sphinx and Medusa. And that is why Christopher Rocchio recommended it to me, because the name of the book comes from a Clark Ashton Smith work, which is awesome. And if you pay any attention to my channel, I don't talk a lot about Smith's fiction. I'll mention him here and there when I read another short story of his in this weekly update. But I feel like half the poetry, okay, not half, but a good chunk of the poetry I share on this channel is by Smith. He's probably, at this point, my favorite speculative fiction poet. He's even passed up Tolkien for me. He's kind of in competition with William Morris, who is like Tolkien's guy. So yeah, Clark Ashton Smith, man, his poetry is something else. Anyways, so he's someone I really look up to as far as my own writing goes. I'm not nearly as good as him. So as far as that goes, actually, as my own writing, I just finished a story that I'm, as of right now, is called Monument Built Mockingly. This Aryan story, and it's actually one I'm thinking will be my first Aryan story, which, as of right now, or in my little mosaic, as of right now, Judgment of Thieves was the first one, which actually just got accepted for publication last week. I mentioned that, I think, in the last update. And so this one will actually take place before Judgment of Thieves. It's shorter than the rest of them. In Judgment of Thieves, was already shorter than the rest of them. So I don't know exactly how this one will turn out. It just seemed like something that I wanted to use as an introduction. We'll see. We'll see how it works. I haven't read, even though I am like have these stories in mind, like in order. Like when I wrote Sword of the Whittled, I was like, this is going to take place in between Judgment of Thieves and Advent for 3, and I knew that, but I did not go back and I did not read Judgment of Thieves beforehand, and I did not read Advent for 3 either. So like I'm not reading these really. I think they fit. I should probably go back more and read them, but then that's just like every time I write a new story, do I want to read through all of them again just to make sure I'm being like consistent? In some ways, I'm making Aryan inconsistent, and that's on purpose. But like in a lot of ways, I don't know. But anyways, I also made a video this week mentioning my Patreon. I'm hoping to have another story up on that Patreon here soon. It just really depends on my motivation to write and what stories I'm getting out, because some of the stories I get out are things I want to go publish elsewhere, and other things will end up on Patreon. There's a couple stories I have that I'm just like, particularly my older stories. So like some of my first stories I wrote, generally when you write, your first stuff is your worst stuff, right? That's how it should be. And so a lot of that stuff is like, it's just not the quality I want it to be. And so I don't know if I will ever get those published because I don't really try that hard. Only a few of them have been sent out a couple times and they've gotten rejected, of course. So I might put up those older stories on my Patreon eventually. And then they probably, I don't know, it's hard because like I said, I do want to do a collection at some point. But not every story that would go in a collection would appear on Patreon. So, because there's got to be a reason for a collection, and not just be like, well, if I subscribe to the Patreon, then there's no reason to buy this collection, right? Um, so yeah, and I did find out that one of my stories that got accepted in January, Vacancy for Vengeance, which I wrote at the end of July, I believe, will be coming out on March 10th. So that is Friday. And that'll be going up on wingraph.com. I believe it will be the first of 5 days of flash fiction leading up to the release of issue 3 of Wingraph magazine. So that's cool. It's cool if I'm hearing that correctly that my piece will be starting those 5 days leading up. So hopefully it's enjoyable. I didn't get any edits back on that, so it must have been fine or something. He just said I want it, and then he paid me for it, and I didn't get any edits, so that was different. Yeah. So, well, also I also edited a review that might be going up on a website. I will mention that if that does end up going up. I will link it, of course, as well. So, but yeah. Anyways, this has been Liam and Liam's Lyceum. Let me know what you've done this week. I'm hoping to get more short stories in. I'm hoping to get more novels in for sure, and definitely more writing. School is busy. Work and family and stuff keeps me busy as well. Of course, hopefully I'm making enough content for you to be somewhat entertained. But just know that I'm trying to entertain you in a sense. I don't know exactly who would find me entertaining, but at least I'm glad to be able to sit here in front of a camera and talk, and hopefully someone enjoys the words I say or finds something meaningful in those words. Yeah. I don't know what else I'm saying. So I'll probably have my winter wrap up, which, my goodness, I wish winter would wrap up here. It snows nonstop. It's crazy. I have not seen the ground in months here. Hardly ever gets up to freezing. So anyways, I'm sure it's worse up in Alaska for those who live there, and a lot of people probably in Canada for that matter. But whew, it's a bit much this season. So, but winter has wrapped up as far as books go. It's 42 books, I think. So I'll do a recording of that that come out on Wednesday. So anyways, I'll catch you next time.